Have you heard? Smudge here, of course. My peoples are going to have Old Alabama Gardener as a guest Monday night. Let me very quickly read the description on the About page. My channel is all about helping you, a new or developing gardener, grow garden vegetables. I keep my videos short, to the point, and with great detail. I talk little and show a lot. I often show from seed to harvest type videos. Do some cooking and pressure canning of the vegetables I grow. I show videos on the benefit of using homegrown vegetables to improve your health. My channel is mostly about gardening, but I also like to share other things I have learned over my 70+ years of life, like storing food and other things to make life easier. I welcome your comments and questions about my videos. He has created 5 playlists, and we'll just kind of leave those playing in the background while we highlight a couple that aren't on his list.
And today we're talking about
like when he was
great Appalachian Homesteading
at the Appalachian Conference
in Crossville, Tennessee. This video was taken at the Great Appalachian Homesteading Conference on the 6th of May at Crossville, Tennessee. In the first part, Old Alabama Gardener, that's me, is holding a special drawing. Actually, there was only one name in the hat.
And of course, a series of 4 videos when he visited Deep South Homestead.
Old Alabama Gardener here, and today I'm finishing up my 4-part segment on my visit with Deep South Homestead. This is the 4th and final part of my visit with Danny and Wanda at Deep South Homestead down in Mississippi. Now in this video, Danny and Old Alabama Gardener are talking about the effects of genetically modified organisms or GMO food on the declining health of the average American. Now it's my belief that if you eat GMO food, then don't expect to have good health or a long life.
Studio in here, so this is where we be. We have our trolls and our troll slayers here on screen. We have Vina, our troll slayer. She's a Buckeye, and the bee lady, she's up in New York by the Canadian border. No audio? No audio.
It is now.
Now try it, folks. Okay, thank you. Good. So you were just watching me with my lips going. I think Daryl does that quite a bit, just sort of sees my lips flapping and can't really understand what I'm saying. Oh, we got quite a crowd in here already, 31. It's going to be, I think, an awesome evening. I mean, every one of our guests has been fantastic. But we met Charles in May when we were in Tennessee, and we followed him before that, so hope it's a good show for you. And Daryl, whenever you're ready.
Charles, are you ready?
Here we go.
Okay, you're on the air. Say hello to everybody.
Hello folks, how you doing this evening?
You are the man of the hour. Folks, if you have questions, make sure you put them in capital letters so we don't miss them. Go ahead, Charles. I'm sorry.
No, well, I'm trying to figure out how to get the chat where I can see it. but I don't know how to. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm about to get there, I think.
Nina, I always talk a mile a minute. Did you know that? I have to keep up with my fingers when they type. Coco.
Okay, Charles, you're going to have to silence your... You're gonna have to
I did.
Okay.
I was getting yeah. I got it.
Hey, Ben.
Okay, so we're past the promo, though, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. We're way past the
Okay,
promo.
so
It's all yours. Floor is yours, Charles.
well, I wish I could see what was going on here but I cannot. I don't know what that is, so maybe I better.
Okay, Charles, at the bottom of your screen there, if you have the YouTube channel up, I take it. So at the bottom of your screen, the little bar that runs across, take your mouse and put it on that bar and shove the little ball all the way to the right. That'll make it as near time as possible.
Well, what I'm seeing right now is it says two-family homestead, honored to have as a guest Mr. Charles Hancock.
You are. So
I'm not.
You're way, way, way behind.
Okay, I'll give up on this one then.
Okay.
All right. So I don't have any way of knowing who's here, so I can just wait for you to relay a question to me, or
absolutely, we can do that. Well, can you read off a few of the names that are in here, just so he knows?
There is South Georgia Hydroponics. There is.
Oh yeah.
Let's see who else made Andy Walker, and
okay, that's Addy, ADDY.
Okay, Addy, I'm sorry, you're right. And
okay, yeah, she's over in Mississippi.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
New Orleans Gardener.
New Orleans Gardener. We've had her as a sub for a while. Brenda Duncan, Vina Troslayer, Southern Arc Homestead.
Oh yeah, SAG or SAH.
Yeah, Cab 7, Ben.
Oh, okay.
And there's Charlotte.
All right, so hello for all the folks.
Yeah. Charlotte says hello, Alabama Gardener, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. It's Seniye. Last name is Shepherd. She says, "Hi Charles, I'm here." Is it Senya? I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. I don't want to, slaughter it around the way.
There's a Charlotte from North Mississippi.
Yeah, Charlotte. Yeah.
Bob Homestead.
I had an email.
We have a gal from Japan here. Lovely Kid Japan.
Yes, we sure do.
Is her name Ayako? Ayako?
No, her name is
Lovely Kid Japan.
Yeah.
Right.
It's Tina.
Oh, okay. All
Tina.
Right. I got it. Yeah. Okay.
And Charlotte's from North Mississippi. Cool.
And Lady B, the hopeful homesteader, says, "OAG, the bitter melon you gave me are blooming, but have no melons."
Well, they start blooming first with male blooms, and you'll have a lot of male blooms going on, and then finally you'll start having little female blooms, and then that'll produce the bitter melon. Then, yeah, I mailed out a lot of bitter melon seed to quite a number of people this past summer.
Never heard of it.
And as well as I mailed out quite a number of packages of rattlesnake pole beans. So.
There's a partially off-grid and homesteading.
Sam Wise is asking, what is your favorite thing to grow?
Well, that's a good, interesting question. It would be hard for me to pin it down to just one thing. Obviously, it's like you could look at some of the things that I always grow every year. I always grow tomatoes. I always grow squash. I always grow cucumbers. I always grow okra. I always grow rattlesnake pole beans, a green bean. And so those are about 5 things that I always grow. And then some years I'll grow corn. Some other years I might grow pinto beans. And so then when I grow, I'm going to call it the off years, I'll can that kind of stuff. And so if I have enough can to last me, say, 2 or 3 years, then I might skip a year of growing a specific vegetable.
It's a good way to do it.
Okay. And you folks in the chat, just so you know, Charles is not seeing the chat, so we are trying to relay the information. And if we miss your statement, please repost it. There's a
Noreen from Houston. That's who that is.
This is?
Yes.
Charles, the Comfrey roots you sent me are going crazy. Beautiful dark green sprouts. Is that the one?
What now?
This is someone called Shas.
Yes, it's Noreen from Houston.
No. Okay, because I don't see Noreen from Houston.
You have to scroll up back.
Okay, Noreen from Houston says that her Comfrey is doing great.
Oh, Noreen. Okay. Yeah, Noreen. Yeah, I know. She and I have been talking about Comfrey.
Yes.
And, yeah, okay.
And Biddy Boo Brown says, it gets very hot here, so would Comfrey grow better in shade or full sun here in Oklahoma?
In Oklahoma? I would think it would be not too much different from the climate that I'm in. I have mine growing in partial shade, and it's done very, very well. I have not actually tried growing it out in direct sunlight, so I really don't know.
Ours is in direct sunlight, and it's huge.
But we're a little bit cooler than they are.
Yeah, we're in Ohio, so we don't have the high temps they have in Mississippi and that.
Charles, if we shouldn't eat GMOs, how do we come by non-GMO pinto beans to plant?
Well, I can tell you where I got mine, and you can probably find a place to do it. If not, I could probably get some and send you some. But my answer is, I went to a store that sells mostly organic produce, and part of what they sell is dry beans, peas, seeds, sunflower seeds, all kinds of stuff, oats and all that kind of stuff. And it was non-GMO. In other words, it was organic. So with it being organic and you plant it, then you're going to have a non-GMO crop of whatever you're planting. One thought about...
There's a Pat Sanzone that says, guys, you can't buy GMO seeds.
Say that again?
There was a statement made that, guys, you can't buy GMO seeds. I'll just let you take that and run with it.
If you can buy GMO seeds, if you go to a seed rack and you buy a package of seeds off of a seed rack and it doesn't specifically say that it is non-GMO, depending on what vegetable it is, it could well be GMO. You know, there's GMO corn, there's GMO soybeans, there's GMO squash. There's a lot of stuff that's GMO, so watch and read very carefully.
And Brenda Duncan has asked, I have about 1 month before the first frost. Can I still plant my Comfrey in the garden?
Yes, absolutely. Matter of fact, I would encourage you to do so that it can get itself established before any cold weather sets in.
Can a plant be too young to prune in the garden? Can you prune it too early?
Are you still talking about comfrey?
Just said a plant.
Well, if we're talking about comfrey, when you harvest it, you would want to cut it down to the ground about maybe 2 inches above the ground, and it'll come right back out. It'll start growing new leaves. And you can actually cut comfrey about 3 or possibly 4 times a year, depending on where you are located, where you're living.
Charles, Kellie, PB Fam, wants me to let you know that she's here in the chat.
Okay. Hello, Kellie. Welcome to our chat this evening.
And we have a question here. Can I buy comfrey seeds, or do I have to buy the plant?
There's 3 types of comfrey. One is called common comfrey, and it propagates from seed. And yes, you can buy those seeds. The second type is called Bocking, B-O-C-K-I-N-G, number 4. And it does not produce seeds that will grow. And then there's a Bocking, B-O-C-K-I-N-G 14, and it does not produce seeds that will grow. So you would have to propagate or divide the Bocking 4 and the Bocking 14 to get new plants.
Okay, in Harmony Homestead, if we missed a question from you, please retype it. I did see your question here. Can you see my questions? That one caught my eye.
Yeah, sometimes they go by so fast we don't catch them, so we do apologize. I have to brush up on my speed reading.
Yeah, me too. I always have trouble trying to keep up with the chat.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Bonterra Homestead says hello, Charles.
Hi, Bonterra. She's over in Mississippi also.
And Pat Sazone says, she may have been talking to somebody else. She said, Grandpa would love to talk with you about it sometime.
Okay. If she's talking with me, then she can post a comment at maybe one of my videos, and then I'll get back in touch with her.
And My Happy Craft Corner says, hi, Charles, Alice, and Alan are watching you.
Okay. There are a couple that lives not too far from me. I have visited them and kind of helped them with starting to grow some of the kinds of plants that I grow that she was interested in growing and eating. Bitter melon, for one.
And we have a question here. Do you know if purple pole beans are any good?
I can attest to that. Yes, I have them. I have hyacinth beans growing.
You call hyacinth beans the purple ones?
Yes, that's what. Yeah, I've had. This is my second year, and the ones that I planted this year were the seeds from last year that I cultivated myself.
Yeah, you can save seed. Mm-hmm. I have not planted that type of bean, so I really don't know.
Well, if you want any, let me know. I have tons of them.
And there's a Jeanette Grisham in the room, says she loves your videos. She's from Texas.
Okay. Hello, Jeanette, and thank you. Thank you. I thank all of the people for watching my videos, because that's really why I'm making videos, is to not entertain you, although it might be entertaining. I would hope that it is entertaining, but I really make these videos for teaching. I want to share with all of my subscribers and viewers what I have learned over my 78 years of life, so that when I pass on, which eventually I will have been able to pass on knowledge about how to grow things and how to grow a garden, how to can, prepare it.
Hold on, I just lost it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, there's
Oh, first of all, Finite World, Finite. You mentioned last week about getting with you about a program or something you wanted help with. I messaged you, so you may want to check. I don't know if it's your email or your YouTube messages, but check that because I did send you a message. And
her name again? Her name?
That was Finite World. And Michelle Cutler, if you want purple pole beans, message me because, like I said, we have some. I harvest them, so I have tons. In fact, I need to go out this weekend and grab the rest. And Biddy Boo Brown, did you get it so your chat is on the side of your screen? I noticed that it was mentioned to switch to desktop mode. Okay, your turn.
Okay, and Grandpa's Place, thank you very much.
Oh, okay, yes.
Has asked, do you grow edibles or do you grow medicinals as well? Charles.
Yes. I have some medicinal plants that just naturally grow wild, such as plantain. There's two different types of plantain, a broadleaf and a narrow leaf, and it grows wild. Dandelions, of course, grow wild. And in the Comfrey, it doesn't grow wild like the plants I just described, but it does grow very prolifically, really. It really grows fast, and it's a good medicinal plant. And so I have a couple videos, 2-3 videos on how to use Comfrey, and I need to be probably making some more, but right now I think there's 3 videos in there on using Comfrey for medicinal purposes. I must tell you though that the FDA does not recommend consuming Comfrey like as a tea internally, but many people do with no harmful effects. The study that the FDA based their findings on was, in my mind, a very flawed study. They took laboratory rats and gave them 1,000 times what you or I might ever get of the compound that's in the Comfrey, and ultimately they developed liver damage or liver problems. But you and I would never consume, even if we tried. I don't think we could consume that quantity. So therefore, I don't see any harm in consuming it internally. But I have to always say then, but do your research, and then you decide what you want to do.
Okay, Charles. Harmony Homestead has asked, what are the top 3 plants you would recommend to a rookie homesteader to plant in the spring? They didn't indicate where they were at.
You know, that's a good question, and I feel like you can never go wrong with planting a climbing green bean. And the one I prefer most, obviously, is rattlesnake pole beans. And it grows easy. It has almost no pests that bother it. It does need a trellis for it to climb on, and it will produce for you prolifically. Really. So I would say my number one suggestion would be green beans.
A question here. Robert Hicks is asking if you could recommend a supplier for Comfrey.
Tell him to go to my latest video and put a comment in there, and that he's interested in Comfrey, and or I'll tell you what, a better idea. Tell him to send me a private message in the YouTube private messaging with his email address, and I'll get in touch with him, and I can probably get him started with some Comfrey.
Okay, and Lady B, the hopeful homesteader, asked, will you be at the next Appalachian Homesteading Conference next May?
You remember the old saying, if the good Lord's willing, the creeks don't rise?
Yep.
I plan to be, as long as I'm still healthy and able to be.
So do we. So do we.
And we have a little bit different request here, Charles. I'm not sure what the background is on this.
Did you see that?
But Coco Noel wants me to ask you to do a happy dance for her.
A few of them have asked to have, and they said that he danced. I've missed these videos, and I've been watching them.
Let me see here, okay? I'm going to tilt that screen up just a little bit, and I'm going to get out of my chair, but I don't know how much you're going to be able to see. You can't see me, okay?
Throw the dollars, everybody.
All right. Oh, that's so good. I wish you could have a bite of this. I wish I could share it with you. Oh, that's so good.
That's awesome. Bravo, bravo. There you go, folks. Only on our live stream.
Ask Coco if that was sufficient.
Oh, my.
Addie Walker, besides Goya champuru, I think. How else do you cook Goya?
Champuru.
Yeah, how else do you cook Goya?
I don't cook it myself, but my wife does, and she will cook it in a soup, like she's going to make a miso soup. Then she will chop up or slice up Goya. Goya is the Japanese name for bitter melon.
Oh, okay.
And so she'll slice up Goya or bitter melon, and she'll put that into her miso soup and enjoy it that way.
Now, see, the way I was brought up, if you don't put the A on the back of it, that has a totally different meaning for me. Some of you will understand, Coco. They all loved your dancing.
And Pratt Family Homestead has just joined the room. It says, "Hi, Charles. Glad to see you."
Hello, Mike and Jenny. Hope you're doing well today.
Mike, Jenny, did you get to see Charles dance? We may have to do an encore here.
Yeah, we just might have to. Mike and Jenny got a new tractor.
Oh, did they?
Did you see? A big red
I saw
mama.
That.
Yeah.
I haven't caught up.
We're gonna have to go to just have tractor rides. They could probably charge for that.
Okay, the Weekend Homestead is asking, OAG, I was going to start a garden with my son. What is the hardiest plant to plant indoors for the highest success?
Did he say indoors?
He said indoors.
Obviously, you're going to have to stay with something that's not going to have a lot of room or take up a lot of room. I would say some kinds of lettuce or some kinds of greens, like mustard greens or spinach. You can grow spinach in containers in the house or in a garage. You probably would have to have a grow light set up, and I don't mean a highly expensive grow light. I'm talking about making you a frame, probably out of PVC, or you could make it out of wood, and then buy you some fluorescent fixtures at Lowe's or Home Depot or places like that, and then buy the bulbs to go into fluorescent fixture. You want to get a bulb that has a lumen of at least 2,000 to 3,000. And that's called lumen. That has to do with the light intensity. And then you also want the bulb to have a Kelvin, and that's more like daylight, and you'd want it to be at least 4,100 to 6,500 Kelvin. So you need a bulb that's got those two elements, and you can grow lettuce and spinach and small, they call microgreens. You can do all that in the house in containers, or matter of fact, I just planted today some Japanese greens in a rain gutter planter that I had made. So that will be, and you can always grow green onions. Green onions will grow everywhere or almost any way.
Charles McCrae Family Homestead is asking if you grow lima beans, and if so, how long does it take after planting for the beans to grow?
Well, this year, yes, I do grow lima beans. I grow two types. This year, I grew the what they call the Christmas butter beans, and that's a climbing bean, and it has to have good roots to plant. And it'll probably take about 80 days from the day you plant the seed before you start getting your first produce. Also, the baby lima bean, it's primarily a bush bean. It's actually about what they call a half moon. And it's going to take about 80 days, 85 days to produce it better bean size. And of course, everything can be variable depending on the weather. You know, you don't have much control over that, of course.
Are we caught up with questions?
Well, Coco asked if he has a video on it, but I'm not quite sure which one she was talking about, so I asked her to ask that again.
She's probably talking about the video on Christmas butter beans that I did about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago.
Easy try.
I'm going to tell you, this is different when I'm watching your live show, and I can actually see the chat.
I understand.
I feel like I'm missing part of this.
Well, sometimes I feel like I am. Charles, you know who BC Truck is?
Oh, yeah, BC Truck, yeah.
Okay. Well, he has a question here. He says, why won't the bacon bits I planted come up? I've been waiting all summer to pick bacon.
Well, there's probably a couple of 3 reasons for that, okay? One, it may not be suitable for your climate. Secondly, you may have planted it too deep, and did you let the weeds take over? That would be another factor in it, too.
Oh, my goodness. With a straight face, he does that. I love it. Oh, my gosh.
You know, that is BC Truck, on your question, that is almost like when I wanted to raise some little chickens, you know, and you put the egg in the ground, and I never got any little chickens out of that, you know.
Okay.
There is another one I just have you ever grown Asian long beans, asparagus beans, and if so, any hints?
No, I have not grown those beans, but they're a vining bean, and they would grow just pretty much like any other bean. And so I would plant them and treat them just like I would if I was growing rattlesnake pole beans. Obviously, they're a climber, so they're definitely going to need a trellis to climb on, and then they're going to hang down and be long. They would probably be a pretty good bean. I'm kind of a stick in the mud. Once I find something I really like, I usually just keep planting that same thing, and I don't vary very much from that.
Yeah, we have cattle panels, and Daryl took to the cattle panels and made them into a hoop.
Into an arch.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And that's what my pole beans grow up, because then they're just hanging down, and all you do is grab them. And plenty of room for them to grow.
BC Truck says he'll have to go get some of the Region 8 bacon bits.
Oh, my.
And you're obviously, we have some real gardeners in here. Wait a minute, I lost it.
You know, maybe we should say one comment about BC Truck's question and about my answer. All of that was just kidding.
Well, I think some people are aware of that.
We found out otherwise when we did the dehydrated water. Remember? Mountain Mama is saying that she liked the video that you had. That the bean, there was a bean one apparently that tasted like the old days.
That's a pinto bean.
Pinto bean, okay.
Well, Discovery says he's having the same problem with his donut seeds.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to plant them just right, Spicy, or they're not going to grow.
Okay, and Hound Jog, my Brussels sprouts only gave me one Brussels sprout, and he has question marks.
Yeah, now she's out in California, and you know they're supposed to be able to grow anything and everything out in California. Brussels sprouts are kind of finicky. I generally do not have a great deal of success with them, and so therefore I don't try to grow them. I grow broccoli and cabbage and collard greens and other those cruciferous vegetables, but I don't have much success with Brussels sprouts, so I'm sorry I'm not able to help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and Faith Abounds, Charles is having a little bit of problem on his end as far as seeing the chat and so on and so forth. So we're trying to relay everything to him. And if we tried to pass the dehydrated water through this, I'm afraid his computer might crash. So we're just going to have to forego that tonight.
Next week when Cab 7 is on, maybe we'll get that out. There's a Carlotta Chmielewski.
Oh, you know, I've never been able to get that pronounced correctly.
Well, first name is Carlotta. Came as soon as I could. Great to see you.
Okay.
Hello, Carlotta. Also.
Yeah, we do a lot of corresponding back and forth.
Okay. Wow.
Best time to plant kale and turnip greens in Zone 7.
Right now.
Mornings.
Mornings? when it's cool outside.
Right now. You can get it started now. You know, we've had some cooler days, and we've been running a few degrees below normal. Some days are a little bit warmer, but those are cool weather crops, so you can get them started now.
And I think we have a serious question here from BC. Is there a surefire way to keep antlered rats from eating everything? Speaking deer. Is there a surefire way to keep the deer from eating everything?
Oh, absolutely. There's a product called Deer, D-E-E-R, Off, O-F-F. You can buy it at Home Depot, Lowe's, maybe at most farm stores, possibly at Walmart. It's basically eggs, garlic, hot pepper, and water. So it's not going to hurt you. And you mix it at a ratio of, on the bottle it says 7-to-1. I usually mix it at 10-to-1. And spray your plants with it, and the deer and rabbits will not touch it.
I'll be done.
But the first question I would ask you is, are you sure it's deer?
Coco Noel is asking if you have videos on the DIY grow lights, and if you do, she'll look up the link so she can post them.
Yeah, absolutely, I do.
Okay.
There's a video on how to make the frame out of 1-inch PVC. It's very detailed. You know how I am. I'm a detailed person, so I give you a lot of detail. And it also has what kind of lights to buy and exactly what kind of bulbs to buy. And she can always, email me or private message me or something, and I'll help her out. But yes, there is definitely a video on it.
And this Carletta Chmielewski, maybe?
Says, very good, yeah.
Says, we are hooked on your recipes for fried okra and squash.
Well, that's just good old country cooking, you know. The okra is, you know, you looked at the video on how to can it, I'm sure. Matter of fact, I picked okra today. I'm probably going to be canning okra tomorrow. And the squash, I need to pick the squash too. I've got 25 plants of squash out in my garden right now that I have had covered over with bird netting to keep the squash vine borer out of it. And I don't know if it would have gotten squash vine borer if I had not had it covered, but I'm producing squash at this late part of the growing season.
Okay, well, some people in here that haven't eaten okra. I guess it's a love-hate thing.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
Yeah, Sherry doesn't care for it, but
I'm sort of like Starry. I don't like it.
Well, so I have been asked this question about okra for someone who has not eaten it before. They would ask me, what other vegetable does it somewhat taste like? And I've never been able to come up with another answer. Okra tastes like okra, and it doesn't taste like squash or cucumbers or anything else. So I don't know. And basically, there's two ways that people cook okra. One way I do not like, and that is to boil it. Usually that's as a whole pod. And the other way is to cut it into small pieces, maybe a half to 3/4 inches long, and roll it in cornmeal, a mixture of cornmeal and flour, and fry it in a little bit of oil. Mm-hmm. And so that's the way I like it, and that's the way we prepare it here in my house.
Yeah, my mom used to hide it in soups. She didn't hide it well enough because it would always end up on my plate. It was just, I just couldn't do it.
South Georgia Hydroponics is asking, what variety of beet do you like?
Detroit Red. I have grown other varieties of beets. There's one that's kind of orangey colored, and there's cylindrical beets, and I don't know what, but I always like Detroit dark red beets. That's one of the best, especially here in the South.
Okay. I'll tell you what, it's already 9:41.
Yeah,
we got to get a trivia question in here before an hour's gone. So, Charles, we're going to go ahead and do the first trivia question here.
You may want to explain it for those that don't usually come here.
Well, yeah, we'll do that. But I was going to suggest, Charles, while we're doing this trivia question, if you wanted to maybe refresh your page or something, see if that catches you up on the chat in the thing, or do whatever you need to do. We'll take a couple minutes here while we do this, and you can do what you need to do there. Okay, folks.
Give it a try.
Okay, folks. We'll just kind of get started here on our trivia. And for those of you new, what we do is we ask two different trivia questions. They are questions about our guest in some fashion. Sometimes they give us a question, sometimes we dream them up. But when you get the question right, we'll send you a $2 bill. So let me get this thing started here.
You know who's not here? Okay. Daniel.
Okay. These are our rules. You can only win once every 4 weeks. You must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it is received and recorded on the stream here at Two Family Homestead. And the third thing is, of course, we have to have a way to send you your $2. So you must send us an email with your address within 48 hours to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. So, if you're all ready, we'll ask the first question. When Old Alabama Gardener is planting seeds, potting up plants, or setting plants in the garden, what does he often say? Okay, I will repeat the question. When OAG is planting seeds, potting up plants, or setting plants in the garden, what does he often say? And it's not Cowabunga.
Discovery, you're watching the wrong channel.
You might phrase it another way. What's the last step? When I'm planting a tray of seeds, what's the last step that I do?
Surf's up? Nope. Samwise, no, that's not it. There we go. Addie Walker. Water it well and watch it grow.
Good job, Addie. Good job, girl.
Okay, Addie Walker, we need for you to send us your address, please, via email. Send it to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. And if your email does not match your screen name, please inform us who you are, so we can get out your prize to you. So there's question number one, and we'll get back in. Charles, have you had any luck?
Yes, I can actually see the chat. Now, there is a delay, though, isn't there?
There is a delay.
Joyce?
Oh, you know what? Do you see that, Joyce Hancock?
Yeah, I'm just going to say that. Go ahead.
Yes, I see her question. She lives up in West Tennessee, and the answer to her question is, did I learn how to cook okra and squash from a woman by the name of Sybil? And Sybil was our mother. And so the answer is definitely yes.
I'll be darned.
That's my sister.
Ah.
My younger, I'm the first of 7 children, 3 boys and then 4 girls. And so she's the first of the 4 girls.
Well, welcome, Miss Joyce. Let's see.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's
Southern lady with many sun hats says, using a soaker hose on my rattlesnake beans watering, but I can't see the rest of it, so I don't know what it is.
She says, using the soaker hose on my rattlesnake beans, watering them well.
Okay. Well, that's good for the beans. Actually, on green beans, if you let it get dry and when the weather gets hot, I don't care what kind of green beans you have, they're going to be hard, tough, and stringy. To have good green beans, you got to throw the water at them. So Addie Walker says, will do, meaning, hi, Karen. Hi, Karen. How you doing tonight?
Well, quite a few of them have loved your pinto bean video.
I don't know why I got to doing that, wishing I could offer you a bite, but, I like good country food. And so it's just, it's just something that you want to share with people.
Well, people are coming up with more questions. Charles, let you and I talk here for just a moment. I know you have a YouTube anniversary coming up here in the very near future. Seems to me you started your channel in November of 2012.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So almost 5 years. So whatever possessed you to start a YouTube channel?
I guess the fact of realizing, 5 years ago, I was 73. So, there comes a point in your life when you start to say to yourself, even though I wish it weren't that way, you probably don't have, you know, a whole lot of years left. I would be very blessed if I had 20 years left, for example. So I decided that I wanted to record as much of my experience and knowledge about gardening as I could, and YouTube just happened to be a nice platform on which to do it. So I began doing that. Now, in addition to uploading all my uploading videos to YouTube, I also store them in an external hard drive here in my computer, so that if my computer dies or if YouTube goes away, then I still have all of my videos stored for my grandchildren for their future use.
How many grandkids do you have, Charles? How many grandkids do you have?
3.
3?
3, yeah.
They're a lot of fun, aren't they? You can give them back.
Yeah.
Well, really, you know what they say about grandkids? It's always nice when their mama comes and gets them.
Is that right? Charlotte wants to know what fertilizer mix you use.
I am not a 100% organic grower. I do use a commercial fertilizer. You'll hear me refer to it as 1313, which only thing it means that it's 13% nitrogen, 13% phosphorus, and 13% potassium. In addition to that, I do mix up an organic fertilizer, so I'm actually using both. I use a commercial and an organic one. And what I use from the organic one is I'll use either cottonseed meal or soybean meal. That'll be my nitrogen. And then I'll use bone meal. That'll be my phosphorus. And then I'll use green sand, and that'll be my potassium. And so that's going to be at a ratio of 1 to 3. 1 part cottonseed meal or soybean meal, 2 parts bone meal, and 3 parts of green sand. Southern lady with many hats has said, yeah, I told him he needs to make a video on his fertilizer. So I'll get that done here one of these days.
Okay. Charles, you and I shared some conversation here over the past few weeks, and you told me a couple what I found to be fascinating stories. Would you share with these folks what your childhood was like?
Oh, boy. Well, remember I said I was the first of 7 children, and my mother and father, or we as a family, I guess I should say it that way, were migrant workers. And what that means is that we didn't stay in any one place very long. Just to give you an example of a typical year, and we'll start, let's say we're in Michigan, and we would be over in close to the lake side of Michigan, which is the west side, and we would be picking strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, cherries. Maybe in the autumn you might be picking apples. But let's say we would pick the summer crops in Michigan, and then we would go to northern Indiana, somewhere just north of Kokomo, between Kokomo and Peru, Indiana, and we would pick tomatoes. And we would start picking tomatoes around the 25th of August, and we would continue picking tomatoes until about the first week of October. And then you get a frost in that area, so that ends that crop. So then we would pack up, and when I say pack up, you only took what you could carry with you, which was mostly clothes and a few cooking utensils and, plates and spoons and things like that. And then you moved on to the next location. Well, the next location for us would be down in Tennessee, usually around a place right around Ridgely, Tennessee, or somewhere over in West Tennessee, and we'd pick cotton. and we would pick cotton until maybe sometime in November. And then when the cotton was all picked out, we'd move on down to Florida, down around Auburndale or Lakeland, Plant City, down in that area. And we would pick oranges and tangerines and grapefruit. And then when that finished, we would pick strawberries in around Plant City, Florida. When that finished out, usually in March, we would move up toward Arkansas and maybe pick strawberries in Arkansas. Then we would move on back up into southern Michigan and pretty much start the whole cycle over again. So it was an interesting life. We stuck together as our own family, and many times we would be in a field working and would have other aunts and uncles and their children in the same field, or my grandfather and grandmother, and we'd all be in the same field as a family working. And we always pretty much went back to the same farmer every year. It was a very interesting life. It taught us how to work and work hard. We didn't get rich, but we made a living, and that's about all you could do in them days.
How many years did you do that, Charles? What do you say?
Well, yeah, I was born actually in, believe it or not, I was born in Michigan. And the reason why I was born in Michigan is because my mother and father was up there working. And I was born in August. So by the time it was, the crops were over up there, she was too far along to travel. My mother was too far along to travel. So they had to stay there while the rest of the family went on down to northern Indiana, wait until I was born, and then they could travel on down to northern Indiana. So I went in the Army when I was 17 years old, and we kind of did that most of them years. I'm looking for something here if I can find it real quick.
You know, if you get up again, Charles, they're going to want you to dance again.
Well, I couldn't find what I was looking for. If I could find what I was looking for, I would dance again. What did I do with it? I had it here this evening. There we go. I got it. I got it. Let me do a little bit of this. Okay, I got it. Let's see if I can get this up here where you can see it. Okay, you see that?
Wow. Awesome.
1956. 1956. I just went into the Army. 17 years old.
And how long were you in the Army?
About 20 and a half years.
Thank you for your service.
You know, people say that to us often, and I usually say to them, we didn't really think about it as being service. It was like a job, I guess, that we'd call it, but right. We didn't think about it as serving the country, but we were, and you know. So.
Back then, it was a way of life.
You've been asked, did you go to Korea, is one of the questions that went through here.
Say that again?
Did you go to Korea when you were in
If they mean the Korean War?
Yes.
If they mean the Korean War, no. It ended, the Korean War ended in 1953.
I was just a toddler. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm seeing some of the comments here, and like Brenda Duncan. Okay, Brenda said, I'm sure she's talking about the picture. She said handsome. So I think we need to get Brenda a new pair of glasses.
Were you in the
B lady is. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Were you over in Vietnam during that war?
No, I had a job, they call it MOS, Military Occupation Specialty, that had to do with nuclear weapons, and so they wouldn't let me go to Vietnam.
Gotcha.
What do you grow in the fall and winter?
I see that from Eric. Hello, Eric. Eric is, let's see, I think Eric is out in Washington State. I grow, in the winter, I grow cabbage, broccoli, Japanese greens, Japanese daikon, a radish called a daikon. I grow beets in the autumn. I grow kale in the autumn. A lot of greens in the autumn. Thank you, Robert. Robert Hicks is up in, kind of like a little bit west Tennessee, not too far west.
Eric Rivera wants to know what you grow in the fall and winter.
Yeah. Kale.
You just got that.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Japanese greens. A lot of greens. A lot of green onions. I was planting green onions this morning.
Alex Homer is asking if you ever grow any herbs or small vegetables indoors, and if so, which are the best?
Yes, the answer is yes. I don't grow any herbs indoors. The herbs that I grow are outdoors. Small things that I do grow, and matter of fact, I transplanted some today into a rain gutter planter, and it's a Japanese greens that my wife likes. Now there's a picture scrolling on my page right now of a big Japanese daikon. So, yeah, I grow some things inside. I did some videos on it. I did a video on a rain gutter planter.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, it's been an hour. So let me get this second trivia question in, see how everybody's doing, and we'll just go from there. How's that sound, Charles?
Sounds great. And if they want to continue, no reason for us to stop. I'm for going on.
Okay, well, let's do trivia question number 2 here. Okay, I'll read the rules one more time here. You can only win once every 4 weeks. You must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as received and recorded on the stream here at Two Family Homestead. You must send us an email with your mailing address within 48 hours to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. So for question number 2, if everybody is ready. When Old Alabama Gardener visited Deep South Homestead, he created a series of videos of the visit. How many videos were in this series? Juana Lynn. Juana Lynn, very good. First answer, 4, right there. So Juana Lynn, thank you very much. Would you please send us an email with your mailing address?
There's a question above that. Let's see if I can find it.
Are we back?
You're back.
Tawana Lynn had a question. And so I saw it here. Tawana Lynn asked, what would be my suggestion for a young person maybe just beginning to grow a garden? And my answer for that would be start small. Have success, because success breeds the desire to do it more. Plant something that I wouldn't plant tomatoes. That wouldn't be my first choice. I probably would say plant right now you can buy those little white onion bulbs in the co-ops and in the farm stores. So plant some of those. You know, you don't have to plant many, it's just a handful. And that will give you a young child some success, and they'll be happy to eat their own produce that they grow. And then they can move on from there. Addie Walker says, I know I can't win again, but the answer is 4. And Addie got it right, too.
All Sorts wants to know if you make kimchi.
I do not, but my wife does. I personally don't care for it.
And then Renee wants to know if Mrs. OAG ever gets in your videos.
She does not like to be on the videos. If we're in the kitchen cooking, she might let me take a video of her using chopsticks as she cooks. But as far as having her face in the video, or no, she doesn't want to be on the videos. And you know, I'm a good husband, so I say, okay, dear.
There you go. World Without Rule of Law, it's asking if you know if fig trees will grow in Virginia.
With what?
If fig trees will grow in Virginia.
Absolutely. They'll go dormant in the wintertime, but they go dormant here in the wintertime. Oh, okay, I see her question. You know, fig trees will grow in Virginia. Yes. And fig trees are real easy to propagate. In other words, to make more of them. So if you got one, then, and it has some branches on it, just bend one of the branches down to the ground and put a pot of potting soil underneath that branch, lay a brick on the branch to hold it down in the soil, cover the brick with soil, and that branch will start making roots. And then after about 6 months or 8 months, you can cut it from the main trunk of the tree, and then you'll have a new plant. Mountain Mama, you're welcome, very welcome. I'm always happy to answer questions and comments, and I believe that a good, successful YouTube channel is one who pays attention to the viewers and tries to answer all their comments, and I try to do that.
And this has nothing to do with the guest we have on here, but I want to put this out. If anyone is interested in going to the Homesteaders of America conference next month in Warrenton, Virginia, we have 2 tickets that are available. No charge, they're free. All you have to do is you'd have to get there, and you'd have to, if you live from out of state, you'd have to have, you know, room and board. But if you want to go, we have 2 tickets available. Just wanted to put that out there for folks. Okay, and
you know,
back to the OAG show.
Tawana Lynn just made a comment, and it's true. She said, I saw Mrs. OAG in your visit to the Deep South Homestead. And that is true. She was standing beside the chair that I was sitting in the chair, and so it was a full stand-up view of her. And so thank you, Tawana. She said she's a beautiful lady. Yes, if she was in here, she's not. But if she's in here, I would not say what I'm going to say right now. She is 81 years old.
Bless her heart.
We've been married 53 years.
Whoa. Awesome. You don't hear a lot of that anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is so true.
B-Ladies asked... Go ahead.
Riz says if we don't get our thumbs up, he's gonna whack the kitty. So we want to take care of the kitty. So
yeah.
Do whatever it is.
Yeah, Grizz takes care of that for us. What was it? Oh, Hound Dog. Are there any vegetables I can use cuttings from to make more? Well,
let me think about that a minute. most all the greens is going to be an answer is no. Tomatoes, you can make all kinds of new plants from tomatoes simply by breaking the sucker off and putting the sucker in a pot of potting mix. Set it in the shade. If you put it in the sun, it's going to have trouble establishing roots. So set it in the shade and keep it watered, and it'll grow new roots, and you'll have a new tomato plant.
Now, when you were talking about how to put a branch from the fig tree down in the ground and cover it with dirt, will that work on any fruit tree like that?
No. If you want to do, well, there's a process called air layering, and I've not done a video on it, but we could do a video on it, and it's pretty much the same, except you don't lay the limb down on the ground. You have to do a circling of it and wrap some potting mix around it, and go from there. Backwoods Raised is asking a question. Says, "This is my first time growing kale. What's your best advice for a good crop?" Kale, being a leafy green vegetable, you can throw the nitrogen to it. I use Triple 13 on it, and now if you plant it too early, you'll get it infested with those green worms. But there's some organic sprays you can spray on that. So I'd say, put some Triple 13 fertilizer down in your ground, and go from there. Let me make a comment about organic growing. And then this is just me, and you can feel however you want to about it. Or a plant doesn't care where it gets its nitrogen from, whether it's getting it from organic or whether it's getting it from a commercial fertilizer. And your body doesn't care if you eat that plant, how it was really grown. What's the most important thing that you can do in growing your plants is do not spray your plants with any kind of poison spray. See, I believe that I don't want to put any kind of poison on anything I'm going to eat. But I don't have a bit of a problem with using commercial fertilizer, and I also use some organic fertilizer. I use a lot of compost, for example.
Mountain Mama has asked, have you ever grown celery?
No, I've tried. I have gotten it up. I've planted celery seeds and got it up, but it requires a lot of care, and I just generally don't fool with it. There's a little saying about celery: you expend more calories eating celery than you get out of it. So if you're trying to pack some calories, and celery's a good one. Lonely Prepper Homestead says, there's a pine straw high in nitrogen. I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe so. I don't know.
Charles, what's your your thoughts about neem oil?
I have never used neem oil. I think there's some chances that you can spray too much neem on plants and it'll damage the plants. But I personally have never used it, Addie. I would much prefer to use a spray compound called BT, and it's a big, really long name, and I probably can't pronounce it right anyhow. But if you want to know, I can talk with you. Now, Karen says, thank you for inviting me, Charles. I very much enjoyed this. Have a wonderful night. So thank you, Karen, and thank you for coming, and thank you for commenting. And you too, have a wonderful night. Grizz says, don't use poison, and if you can, vine ripen in the sun on a live plant. None of this ripens in a warehouse. Coco says, do you know from your youth on where the celery capital of the world used to be? I don't know, Coco, but I'm going to guess it's Michigan. Or used to be Michigan.
Okay, you've got a couple more coming up here. One from Carlotta.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Old Alabama Gardener taught me to use chopsticks with coating veggies in
Tempura.
Tempura. Yeah. Basically, when you're going to make tempura, and we make tempura out of okra, eggplant, squash, it's probably something else that I can't remember right now. So what you do is you make up a light flour, water, a little bit of salt, batter, and you dip your plants in there. So when my wife would put, I mean, not your plants, your vegetables. So when my wife would put those vegetables in the batter, instead of getting them out with a fork or with a pair of tongs, she uses a pair of cooking chopsticks, which cooking chopsticks are larger than chopsticks that you use to eat with. So, yeah, and so in one of the cooking videos on tempura, my wife was using the chopsticks, and so Carlotta is saying she apparently watched that video and learned how to use chopsticks.
And I think it's more of that's a question. Eastern Georgia, most of my fig trees freeze. What can I do to stop losing them?
Yeah, I see that. Whenever you're in a particular area where they're freezing back to the ground, it's very hard to grow figs because the tree pretty much has to start over every year. There isn't much you could do. You could cut it back to, say, 6 or 8 feet high, cut it back, and wrap it with some kind of plastic to prevent the wind from hitting it, and maybe cover it over with some kind of tarpaulin, like a tarp. And then early in the spring, after the frosts are past, uncover it, and it will put out new growth, and it will make figs that year. Other than that, I don't know. Carlotta says she's business OAG selling bees with some of the family. And that may be the one where my daughter, her 2 grandchildren were selling bees.
Okay, and a question here is, do you know how to get rid of little white nymphs on tomato plants?
There's most of the people will tell you to use a spray with like dishwashing liquid soap in there in the water and spray them with that. And they generally, I don't ever have a problem with them, but most people will use a dishwashing soap liquid spray.
And Hound Jog is asking if your email is linked with PayPal, Charles.
Is it do what?
Hound Jog is asking, Charles, is your email linked with PayPal?
No.
Okay.
No. I never could figure out how to do PayPal, so I didn't do it. Yeah. Carlotta says, and I think of Carlotta, she says, OAG is my gardening mentor. So I appreciate that.
I think you're our mentor, or a mentor to a lot of people, Charles.
Sometimes I worry that I'm going to bore you with the details.
Oh, Lord, no. And the comment you made a while ago about why you do the videos, so you know, the tradition, I suppose, just keeps on even for the younger generation. that is what we do.
Yeah.
A lot of times our two youngest granddaughters stay with us. Well, one of them was pretty much raised at our house for a long time. And when we're out in the garden, they're out there helping just as hard as we're doing. They'll shovel the mulch and they'll plant the plants and do all that. In fact, a couple weeks ago, they were in the kitchen. The youngest one, her and I canned peaches from, she had to help me peel them and take the skins off and cut them in half, and I let her put them in the jars. And Daryl and Celia, and she's the 12-year-old, they did the tomato sauce. And I mean, that's somebody has to teach them.
Well, and it didn't hurt them, did it?
No, and there are too many young adults now going through high school. Number one, they don't teach home ec or shop anymore, so some of them graduate or don't graduate and don't know how to boil water for an egg. So these girls, I mean, they're 8 and 12, and I'm always standing over there watching them, but they know, they have their knife skills. I let them do in the kitchen what I do. So
that's good,
you know,
because like you said, if the older generation doesn't teach them, matter of fact,
it's going to
that
be
makes
lost.
me think about yeah, I see this comment quite often. They'll say, they may say thank you for the video, but then they'll say, when my mother and father or my grandmother and grandfather were gardening, I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't get out there with them, and I didn't learn, and I wish I had them. And so now they're trying to learn how to grow a garden. And of course, YouTube's a great, great asset. I'm laughing because Robert Hicks says, I learned more from OAG in 2 months than all my gardening friends put together. So,
well, and I'm very certain. I'm very certain that BC Truck really appreciated you getting him directed on the right crop to plant there for his bacon.
Yeah. Coco says, your teaching methods are patient, thorough, results proven, and here's the kicker, okay? And your happy dance seals the deal.
Yeah. We have one here that they bought a 200-acre farm to retire on, and they're going to start picking your brain. Good Lord, 200 acres. Whew.
Well, you can't garden 200 acres, so no. you're gonna have a lot of livestock and other kinds of things, and that's good. That's good.
Charles, how big is your garden?
I garden in 4 different spots. There's 4 different plots. One plot is about 50 feet wide and probably about 60 to 70 feet long. Another plot is about 100 feet wide and about 70 feet long. Another plot is about 45 feet wide and about 35 feet long. And then I have some stuff that's up here behind the house. So I garden in quite a few places, but here's why, okay? I do most of my rototilling with a tractor and a 4-foot rototiller. And so I plant my rows really wide apart. I plant my rows 7 feet apart. And that way I can go that way I can go down through there and keep the grass and weeds cut down. South Georgia Hydroponics has got a good comment here. It says, OAG, if pork fat is the best seasoning, and I said that in a pinto bean video, then why aren't I growing pork fat? I don't have any. I'm getting old now. I used to have pigs and chickens and rabbits, but I'm getting older now, and I really can't take care of the larger animals, so I don't have any large animals at all now. Yeah. Sure.
Quiet.
So with
Go ahead.
What is your opinion on the Back to Eden style of gardening, using the wood chips in the garden?
I think it's a good idea. The main thing that it does, of course, is conserves moisture. And some of the areas this year that got a lot of rain, such as our area, then a lot of plants did a lot better. And so the key is to keep them with moisture. And so back to Eden gardening with a lot of the wood chips, it conserves moisture and it suppresses grass and weeds if you have the availability of the wood chips. Now, there's one thought about it. Do not rototill them into the soil. And the reason why is because wood chips try to deteriorate or to decompose. They're going to suck up all the nitrogen out of your soil to start their decomposition process. And you will not be able to grow much of anything if you rototill chips into your soil for about 5 years. It takes about 5 years before those chips will really get thoroughly broken down. You can ask Hound Jog how she and I first got started talking. Was she had asked me a question about she would plant peppers and they wouldn't produce anything. So I began asking her questions about what has she done to the soil. And eventually she said, well, I put wood chips on it and then I rototill them in. And I said, aha, there it is our problem. So we fixed that. She's growing things now.
You already dude is asking, what seed or variety have you been growing the longest? Probably tomatoes, but I've also I grew an okra that, okra, the most common okra is called Clemson spineless. And if you let Clemson spineless get more than about 3 inches, 4 at the most, it's going to be hard and tough. So I don't fool with that okra. I grow an okra that I have been saving seed from, I don't know, probably 20, 25 years. And my okra, you can let it get on out to be about 5 or 6 inches long, and it'll still be tender. So okra I've been growing a long time. I have not tried to save seeds on tomatoes because I grow usually 2 or 3 different varieties. And when you grow more than one variety in a close location, they will cross-pollinate. Do you grow corn?
I grow corn on the years that I want to can corn. And so I don't grow corn every year, but I do grow corn. And if I do, it's, of course, I grow a sweet corn. And I also grow some field corn for making cornmeal. And I did a video on grinding your own corn to make cornmeal and then making cornbread with it.
Well, I noticed in getting things put together for you being on the program here this evening that you have 5 different playlists on your channel.
Yeah,
I think you could probably double that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, Daryl, because I was watching a video. You may know the guy, Daryl Eves.
Yes.
I was watching a video, and he said that he recommended that you not have more than 5 or 6 videos in a playlist. And he said the reason why is because when somebody comes upon that playlist and they see 30 videos there, they say, oh, that's too many, and they back out and go somewhere else. So I've got to get in there and create more. I'll probably create a playlist on green beans. I'll probably create a playlist on tomatoes, you know, and start separating that stuff out and make shorter playlists, but make more of them.
So, are you enjoying what you're doing with all your fame that you're getting here and all the attention you're getting to the YouTube? You look like you really enjoy this.
It's kind of interesting, Daryl. By nature, I am an introvert. And you're going to say, no. And I'm going to say, yes, by nature, I am an introvert. Sherry says she's an introvert. But so for some reason, when I'm doing something that I know something about and I enjoy doing, I get so excited and enthused about sharing that knowledge with someone else, teaching someone. I love teaching. I used to be a military instructor, and I love teaching young soldiers how to do the things that we were trying to get them to doing. So yeah, as far as the publicity of it, well, okay, that comes with it, but that's not why you do that. You do a YouTube channel and you make videos because that's your passion. So gardening is my passion, and my other passion, and I know you know it, Daryl, Sherry, my other passion is health. I wish I could help everyone out there with their health, because what's going on in America today, and now we're back to GMO grains, the food that Americans are eating today is killing them. The people who study this kind of thing are now saying that the generations that are coming on now will not have as long a lifespan as the generations of my time. And the reason why is because of the food.
And we've had a couple questions come through here. What are your favorite two or three types of tomatoes to grow?
I always grow Better Boys, and then I'll grow a cherry tomato. I like either Sweet 100s, Sweet Million. Those are cherry tomatoes. And then I usually like to grow an heirloom. I like a big beef that's called big beef tomato. It doesn't make a huge amount of tomatoes, but each tomato is pretty large, and they do set their fruit good, and they'll grow quite well.
And my happy craft corner wants to know how to get rid of slugs without killing them.
Well, to me, how to get rid of slugs without killing them. In other words, make them go somewhere else.
I displaced them, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. Why would you not want to kill them? But I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, because I have slugs just like everyone else does. And now, see, Bee Lady said set out bowls of cheap beer. But see, that's going to kill them. So I assumed that Happy Craft Corner wasn't interested in killing them, just making them go somewhere else. And I don't know how to do that.
South Georgia Hydroponics says they would like to send you some black cherry and F5 Cherokee purple if you like. Those are
tomato plants.
Tomato plants, yeah.
Tomatoes. Okay, I'll private message them.
Okay. And somebody says in here they feed the slugs to the chickens. Of course, not everybody has chickens that grows tomatoes.
I don't think chickens will eat a slug. Ducks will. Well, let me rephrase that. A specific kind of duck will. It's called khaki Campbell. A khaki Campbell duck will eat slugs.
Okay. Is there any other questions out there, folks? You know that we have been going just a bit over an hour and a half, and we're not saying we have to quit. We just want to make sure that we're not keeping everybody up too late, or because time gets away from you. So we just want to make everybody.
And let me make a comment. Charles Donald is saying, thanks for inviting me. Well, I appreciate you, Charles, looking at my videos, and when you made a comment on it, it was natural for me to invite you to participate in our show tonight.
And someone's asking if you have you ever grown or eaten a hillbilly tomato?
No, I have not. I didn't know that was a variety, but there's a lot of varieties that I don't know about. So
yeah, they're red with yellow stripes.
Yeah,
they're delicious.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of funny about tomatoes. Tomatoes are supposed to be red.
Yeah. I'm not so sure if the purple ones they have are the real deep purple ones. Those are strange.
See, and that's just like yellow watermelon. No. Watermelon's supposed to be red. My Happy Craft Corner, what type of corn flower you planted in your garden this year? Wow, that's a good question. I don't know. We've had them for probably 20, 25 years. We grow, and this lady knows because she's been over to our place there. We grow, I should say my wife grows a lot of flowers. We have a lot of azalea plants. We have a lot of rhododendron plants, and we grow a lot of spring and summer flowers. So it's I don't know what the name of them is. I'm sorry. So one on Lynn says, time flies when you're having fun. And she is so right. Time does fly.
Yeah, I have to harvest tomatoes, and I thought I'd start tomorrow morning. So if anybody wants to come on over, bring your baskets. You can take tomatoes home.
Yeah. I'm still drinking tomato juice that I canned in 2014.
Nothing wrong with that. You got it. That's what my kids know, especially my youngest son. When his wife comes over with the kids, she'll go in the back room because we converted the smallest bedroom when my son and them moved out of here in their own home. We converted the smallest bedroom, which was the girls, into our walk-in pantry. And whenever she comes over with the kids, do you have such and such? Or I go, you know where the pantry is, go help yourself. So I guess that's what it's all about, whether it's store-bought goods or the homegrown that are canned. I said, as long as I get my jars back, you can have what's in it.
Yeah. That year, 2014, I had a really bumper tomato crop. I canned 400 jars of tomato juice.
400? Boy, tired just hearing
Yeah, that was just tomato juice.
Oh my gosh.
But I also canned other things. I canned 26 jars of pinto beans day before yesterday.
I've been trying to think of different things to use for my tomatoes. We already have tomato sauce. I'd like to do tomato juice because I love tomato juice. But I've seen a lot of videos lately of folks making ketchup. I don't know if that would be worth it or not.
Eric is saying thank you, and I would like to say thank you to Eric too for coming over. And we got to say thank you to all these people for coming out tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We certainly appreciate everybody showing up and participating in the chat. We always try to bring you somebody new, different, and interesting. Every week we have somebody else. We're not always into the homesteading genre, but we'll bring some cooking people, some preppers, all types. So tonight we just happened to have
Biddy Boo Brown is asking for some of the Cherokee tomato seeds. And so I think that was South Georgia Hydroponics.
And I might have some also out there. I'll look when I go. I'll make a. In fact, I'll do a note right now to look for those.
Yeah. Thank you too, Alice.
And Joey Chauncey says, hello, Mr. Charles. My Comfrey stalks you sent me are doing great.
Oh, okay. Haven't talked with him in quite a long time. Yeah, I sent out, a lot this past summer. I call them Comfrey starts. People wanted to grow Comfrey.
I have a question for you, Charles. Do you have an inventory or an approximate inventory of how many canning jars you have?
Wow. I don't know. I'd say probably between 800 and 1,000, and that's a guess.
Now,
But I stored.
That's going to be my next question. How are they stored in a root cellar type thing? Or are they stored in a pantry or a 3-car garage?
When I built this house, and I built this house 40 years ago. We've been living here 40 years. I wanted a basement in it. And rarely do you find a house in the south with a basement. In the north, basements are pretty common. But I wanted a basement in this house, and so I built it with a basement. And so all of the jars, both empty and full, are stored in racks downstairs in the basement.
I just wonder, it just seems like every time we turn around, Sherry says, I need more jars.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I went through that, and I would buy 4, 5, 6 cases at a time, And so, and then you got to take care of your jars. That is an investment. You got to take care of them. So what I did was I kept the boxes that the jars came in, and I always wash the jars up after they're used. I put them right back in the box after they dry. I put them right back in the box upside down so that no insects will get in them, and do that. So, yeah.
And Carlotta says that diatomaceous earth will repel slugs but not kill them, for whoever asked that earlier.
Yeah, that was April. Yeah, I know what she's talking about. DE will also kill fire ants, but you got to put it on really heavy, and you have to stir the mound up a little bit to get them to come out. And then when they come out and they get the DE into their little legs and, in their joints, well, eventually it kills them. But it takes quite a number of days to do that.
Glass sterilization is important. Yes, it is, Vinny G. Yeah. Anytime you're canning, you have to be fully aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been afraid of canning. I did a video on what to look for in a good and safe canner. And so a lot of people are thinking about the canners maybe that their mothers used. And those old canners, and I've got one, those old canners did not have the safety devices in them that the new canners have. So those old canners, they did have the potential to explode. But the new canners, I can't imagine there's any way with one of the new canners that you could make it explode.
Yeah, I just got a new canner.
Yeah, Sherry just declared a new pressure canner.
My sister made a comment there, says, thank you to Family Homestead and OAG for tonight's live feed. I am totally enjoying it.
Well, we're very happy everybody has stopped by.
Yes.
Thank you, Vina, for putting up my channel URL.
We have some great moderators here. Very good. They're always on top of things.
Yeah, we always we appreciate our moderators. They don't get enough credit.
Yeah. Hound Jog just made a nice comment there. Let's talk about it. She says wheat is now sprayed with glyphosate, which is Roundup. People aren't gluten intolerant of the wheat. Rather, they're allergic to the pesticide. She says pesticide, but it's actually an herbicide of Roundup. And I totally agree with her. That's what's killing Americans. You look at the health of Americans. 25 years ago, America was number 3 in the world in terms of health. And now they're 27. Maybe even worse than that now. And so what's the commonality? The commonality is the food. High fructose corn syrup. It's in everything. You see, whenever they went through this big craze and the FDA said, oh, you got to get off these high-fat diets. You got to go to a low-fat diet. Well, low-fat didn't taste good. So the food manufacturers started putting high fructose corn syrup in it. It tastes good. And high fructose syrup destroys your body. All your poor little cells are crying out for help. Most of them, many of them, went under. They can't survive. Very interesting.
Okay, Charles, hold on, Charles. Charles,
Go ahead.
Your last comment came through distorted. Across the internet, it came through distorted. So you might want to just repeat your last couple sentences there.
Well, I was talking about the health of Americans. 25 years ago, America was ranked number 3 in the world in terms of health. Now they're ranked around 27, and it may be even lower than that now. And the reason why is because of food. So if you look at what happened to the food in the last 10, 15 years, and you'll quickly identify then with what is happening to the health of Americans. High fructose corn syrup is what I was talking about. When the FDA and the doctors and all bodies started saying, get off of the high-fat diet, get off the high-fat diet, it's causing all these problems. Well, the food manufacturers started removing the fat from the food because fat's what makes food taste good. So when they removed the fat, they had to replace it with something. So they replaced it with high fructose corn syrup, which is sugar. And sugar is what's killing Americans fast.
Yeah, Melody at Faith Bound says that fast food is king and microwaves also. I mean, every time you turn around, fast food places are making their regular version of a hamburger or whatever bigger and bigger. You know.
Yeah, super size.
Super size, exactly.
Yeah, and see, but when I grew up, and maybe you too, when I grew up, there was not a fast food restaurant on every corner. Matter of fact, there was hardly any restaurants for you to go sit down and eat. So we eat at home. We ate homemade, cooked from scratch type food. That's why at 78 years old, I can still get out here and do this garden. I say to people often, I say, you don't have to do any work. Just come follow me around.
Okay, and Carlotta says, why should I grow rattlesnake pole beans? What do you like about them?
Prolific and tasty. They grow well. Nothing bothers them. They grow a lot in a small space, and they are the best tasting green bean that I have ever grown.
And how do you spice up your green beans?
Pork fat.
Pork fat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way my mama did it.
Okay. Well, what do you think here?
Yeah. Well, let me make more comments. And we don't have time to get off into it, but I'd like to make one comment about this. Goes into health now, and it's going to be talking about your liver. Your liver is what's called your feel-good organ, and if your liver is not functioning well, you are not going to feel well. You may feel okay, but you're not going to feel great. See, because your liver is your major filtering organ in your body. And so when it gets full of toxic waste, as it does with the food from the day, it can't do its job of filtering your blood. It's going to get full of waste, and you're not going to feel very well, and you need to do some detoxification. You think about this. If you tried to wipe up dirty water with dirty washcloth, you couldn't get it clean because you were trying to clean dirty water with a dirty rag. And that's the way your liver is. When it gets loaded with toxic waste, it can't remove toxic waste from your blood and from the rest of your body. So to clean your body cells, these cells in your body, you got to start cleaning your liver, which then will clean your blood, which then will clean the cells. Sometime, if we have more time, sometimes, and we want to do another show on health, we could spend a whole hour and a half to 2 hours just talking about health.
Well, Charles, I was just gonna share with everybody out here that you have made it known to me that in the event we ever find ourselves in a jam where one of our scheduled guests at the last minute because of illness or somebody else has to back out, that usually on pretty short notice you'd be able to accommodate us and pop back in here, and we would certainly love to have you. So yeah, we can do that. We can do that. So
Gris says I detox my liver with distilled mountain water. In other words, clean water, and that's the point.
Now he uses potato juice. It's fermented. Trust me.
Fermented water.
Trust me.
Okay. Well, listen. We've had a real good evening here tonight, and I'm thinking that probably
almost 2 hours.
And it's been. Let me make a comment. Okay. Make a comment here because
you go right ahead.
B lady asked the question. Okay, B lady, you asked how do you clean your liver? Milk thistle is one of the best, and Hound Dog mentioned it a moment ago. Milk thistle is one of the best ways to clean your liver, and Cab 7 is saying the same thing there.
Milk thistle.
Okay.
I'll have to look into that one.
And it's an herb. Milk thistle's an herb. You can buy it in capsule form. Bob Homestead says, "Great show, two family homestead."
Well, we've really enjoyed this evening, and hope everybody else has. And we appreciate everybody showing up.
Sam has a quick question. Sam wants to know what kind of hot peppers you grow.
Jalapeno, and I do grow some Anaheim peppers.
We have some of those out in the garden also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I really love Rotel. It's a tomato, basically a tomato mix with some peppers in it. It's called Rotel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy it. I make it up myself, but I like the Rotel flavor. I like to put it in soup and other things that I make up.
So you're
welcome, B lady.
You just do that with your tomatoes and then some hot peppers and can it that way?
Yeah, you can can it. Right.
Okay.
Now let me make a point. Because it has, now some people will disagree with this, but because it has other than tomatoes in it, you probably need to pressure can it, not hot water bath it.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah, okay. Hound Jog says, thank you all for organizing this chat. And we thank you for being here.
Sure do. Appreciate it. And next week, Cab 7, who is on here,
He'll be
our guest next Monday night.
Yeah, sure will.
We have...
and you know what? Let me make a comment to all of my subscribers and all of my viewers. Please come back next Monday night and watch Cab 7. Watch the Two Family Homestead. Hit that subscribe button on the Two Family Homestead. And because they do a lot of work to put this on. I know it takes a lot of work. And so we gotta really show them and tell them how much we appreciate it.
And being a guest on our live stream is open to anybody. You don't just have to be a gardener or a homesteader, whatever. It's send us a message. We'll get together. Right now we have every Monday full through the end of November.
Yeah.
That's how much this has grown, and people have gotten to know that we do. Yeah. Thank you.
You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I wish we could all share this all of the time with each other. So it's been a good show.
Well, thank you very much, Charles. We certainly appreciate having you. Do not be a stranger. You got my number. And that said, thank you, everybody, for being here this evening. You all don't be a stranger either. We'll see you next week.
Have a good week. And tomorrow night we have Phil Moore classes, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Take care now. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Hey, good night.